Okay, so before we get started, I just wanted to say a few things. First, there will be two versions of this specific video. The first version is the one here where I ramble and go down a corn maze of information that is indirectly related to refill coffee itself. For those of you wishing to just get on with it and go to the refills coffee section, I will provide the actual timeline where you can just go there in that minute marker and skip all of my ramblings. Additionally, I will be releasing a short form version of this video where I take out all my ramblings. The reason why I have chosen to do two videos and not remove and edit out all the rambly parts is because the rambly parts are authentically me. This is how my brain works. This is how I ramble and how I talk. Yes, I edit out the ums and the ahs and the long pauses regardless, but the long version of the video is more authentically me. And it's okay that it's not your thing. I'm not for everybody, and I'm okay with that. Like I said, you can skip to this part of the video to get the information you're seeking. Second, it was never my intention, and it still isn't my intention, to make a channel that focuses on me. As a matter of fact, I wanted to focus on local areas and local places. I've noticed that my subs are increasing, and I have actually returned visitors to the channel. I'm deeply appreciative about that, by the way. But once things take off, my ultimate plan is to feature a main channel featuring a friend of mine who will be in front of the camera. She has the personality and the knowledge for it. Like me, she is a Luke Krung, or a mixed Thai American person. Unlike me, she is much more outgoing and very comfortable in front of the camera. And I really think she'll take the channel in more varied directions than I can do with this specific channel. I will continue to make material for this channel and obviously for her channel, but life has kind of gotten in the way recently and this may take some time. I love doing this and will keep doing it. And when this new channel starts, I'll let everybody know, but it will be sometime in the undetermined future. I just want everybody to know where I'm at right now at this point in time. It is my hope that you'll continue to follow me, as I hope you will follow her forthcoming channel. And lastly, I am not affiliated with nor have any connection to the business that I'm going to promote here. I'm not benefiting from this at all. I'm just a guy who likes coffee and likes to promote local places. And without further ado, yes sir, Khon Kaen knows coffee. I'm a lover of urban design when it's done well. I've always liked the blending of the cold, hard surfaces of urban materials like stone, concrete, and metals when they're contrasted against nature and natural elements. As I've said before, my dream home would combine nature with modern designs and traditional artwork. Refill Coffee strikes the near perfect balance for me of those elements. As you can see from this spot, the effortless tropical greenery that Southeast Asia can produce is kept confined, and rather than incorporated into the space, it's given its own little area, and it's made to be contrasted against the brutalist, even hostile design elements of Refill Cafe. When I'm referring to hostile design, I don't mean that necessarily in a derogatory way. It's an actual term that encompasses a type of design meant to thwart certain human behaviors and activities. Alright y'all, I'm about to go down a rabbit hole of expository ponderance and self-indulgent deep diving here, so if you just want to know about Refill Cafe, skip to this part of the video. Back before COVID, y'all remember COVID? I believe the year was 2018, possibly 2017. I had spent some time in the US visiting families for my summer break from teaching at a university here in Thailand. Upon flying back to Thailand, Thailand to start the semester, the flight from my originating airport got delayed by, I think it was like 3 hours. Then after the plane boarded and we finally got on the runway, a technical issue caused the plane to turn around and return to the gate. Then my next flight was like in 6 hours or something, the next available flight. So I got to get to Dallas like hours and hours later. I guess it was like 8-9 hours later. And by the time I got to Dallas, it was sometime after or just before the restaurants started closing in the airport. So I guess, what is that, like 9-10 p.m.? I can't remember. But anyways, the next available flight to Bangkok was the next morning, very early in the morning, somewhere around, I think it was like 7 or 8 a.m. I actually chose to just stay at the airport since I had been awake since early morning. It was like 5 a.m. when I woke up. I didn't want to run the risk of getting to a hotel, possibly sleeping through my alarm. I was just that tired, by the way, and missing my second flight. Better to stay at the airport, I figured. Boy, was I wrong. It was probably 3 delays later and a day later. I can't remember. I remember I was stuck at that airport. You know that movie Airport where the guy is just living in the airport? That was my life for a little while. Dallas International, like many other airports, vigorously employs what is called hostile architecture or hostile design. What do you notice about the chairs in this picture? This is Dallas International, by the way. Well, besides the quasi-glamorous headline here, what I've noticed is that regardless if I'm flying from another state in the US or if Dallas is my point of entry from the other side of the planet, I'm usually tired and sometimes just want to take a nap. Well, napping on these seats is actually impossible, isn't it? Unless you're able to do it upright. The seats are curved. They limit the actual area via armrests that cannot be moved. They have bumps or angles on surfaces that makes it unstable to rest your head because you're just going to roll off. This is called hostile architecture or hostile design. It's done deliberately to thwart certain behaviors, and quite honestly, it's a mixed blessing or curse depending on how you see it. What if the airport is packed per se, and someone is stretching out and taking up 3 or 4 seats to nap? I mean, that's awfully rude, isn't it? Not having hostile design in a place like this would require people to be aware of their surroundings, the situation at hand, and to exercise politeness and courteousness to one another. Now that is a pipe dream, people. People are horrible. They're just horrible in public these days. And I'm not even factoring in influencers yet. You see, what is referred to as hostile design or hostile architecture is actually employed in most airports and more frequently in cities throughout the world. For those of you who are wondering why I'm going down this corn maze, it is related to something to do with refilled coffee, by the way. Sometimes hostile architecture is beautiful, like this seat at a bus stop. It's streamlined, modern, elegant, and extremely uncomfortable. You see, cities around the United States are experiencing a spike in homelessness. Hedge funds and equity firms are now buying up not just luxury and middle-class properties, thereby driving up the cost of those places. These entities are also aggressively purchasing trailer parks around America. Mobile home parks are being bought up by investors rather than real people. With the job market being as bad as it is now, people are forced to find shelter in ways that I'm sure wouldn't be what they would originally want. Most big city solution is to make it impossible for them to actually sleep in public spaces. And look, nobody wants to sleep on a park bench by choice. So my guess is because they are putting a band-aid on public spaces, all those people who don't want to look at the homeless population but aren't looking at the underlying reasons behind it. My guess is you're going to see more of an explosion in this problem and much more hostile architecture being employed. I mean, when I was at the Dallas airport, it got so bad because there is not a single place that you can lie down that I actually went to Terminal D or Terminal E, I think it was, and slid myself underneath one of those benches. And then I had to put white noise on because every 15 minutes they are pumping things through the speakers, even at 3 a.m. in the morning when there are no flights going in or out. So here I was, a guy that was making money, a guy that was not homeless. I had just chosen to stay at the airport instead of going some other place that I didn't know anything about Dallas. I have no interest in Dallas, no offense to the people in Texas. I just needed to get home, and yeah, it made it very uncomfortable. That being said, sometimes hostile architecture and design looks great and makes sense. Refill Coffee employs this, and their takeaway benches in front of the barista station looks appropriate, and it actually works for the function that it is meant to. It looks great. It isn't comfortable, but it's comfortable enough for a 5-minute wait or so, and it does its job perfectly. The cafe is tasteful. It's modern, it's hip, it's everything that Godfather Coffee is, sans the loud music. The music here is played louder than at a normal cafe, but not to the point where you're having to yell at the person standing beside you. It is broken into two distinct environments, namely that for seating and green spaces that you can walk into but without seating. The seating spaces are indicated in yellow here, and they're divided into 3 distinct places. 2 of them are indoor locations attached by a walkway seen here in orange, and the outdoor location is surrounded by green space, i.e. manicured gardens and overhanging trees. Just south of central Khon Kaen and the Pillar Shrine, by about 1.6 kilometers or so according to Google Maps, Refill Coffee is in the old town, about a 10-minute walk from Khon Kaen Market if you're willing to cross Mittapop Road, which I am not. Tucked away in a small, even anonymous feeling soy, it shares its general area with a couple of small hotels and a resort. Refill has plenty of parking and seating though. From the street, you know that you're looking at some type of business that's trying to make a statement. It definitely stands out, but the exterior betrays very little about what's going on inside. You enter on the right-hand side of the building. Sorry, but it doesn't appear to be wheelchair accessible to me. So you walk down on the right-hand side of the building all the way into the very back. Placing the entrance and the barista station in the back allows the owner to kind of curate your experience. And yes, it's an experience. I've said this before, but it's worth repeating. Nobody is paying for Starbucks coffee. You're paying for the Starbucks experience. We don't call the small, medium, and large cups ridiculously tall, grande, and venti for fun. They're selling us an experience. An experience I've been reading that these days is feeling more mundane and overpriced, at least in the States. Fortunately, Refill strikes all the right notes. The Spartan modern entrance, the dark painted walls, the concrete surfaces, they all deliberately are contrasted against the green spaces. The lovely garden that you can see upon entrance, it can actually be seen by a 360-degree wraparound seating area, which makes the actual green space really feel like a room inside a larger space. The other interior seating space is separated by more green space, and the floor-to-ceiling glass walls allows the interior and the exterior to coexist in harmony. Woo! That was a bit of artsy rhetoric right there. The cappuccino I ordered was perfect. Toasty and rich, and the chocolate cake was covered in cream cheese with a sprig of dill, which was surprisingly good as it was a little bit strange. I mean, dill on chocolate and cream cheese? Who would have thunk? Would you look at my jankety fingernails there? My hands are washed, and I thought I had taken care of the under part of my fingers after I'd been in the garden, but man, nasty. I'm so nasty, y'all. But I digress. Refill deserves all the attention and love that it gets on YouTube from the various influencers and travelers and vloggers and whatever who happen to go in there. I've noticed it does appear a lot when people are talking about Khon Kaen and places to go. The atmosphere is trendy, but not exclusionary. The grounds are spacious but not overwhelming, and the design doesn't mimic or copy nature, but instead incorporates these green spaces to serve as a contrast. And this is a quintessentially Thai in my opinion. Don't believe me? Well, the next time you try Thai papaya salad, notice how the salty flavors contrast with the sweet, sour, and fiery ones. Juxtaposition is what Thais excel at, and I mean this in the best of ways. Refill is a great way to get a cup of joe, admire the atmosphere, and soak in the hostile architecture with those welcoming vibes. Now that's a contrast worth checking out. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Once again, everybody, I love you. I appreciate you. And I really mean that. I've noticed that a lot of people have been commenting on my threads. Well, I wouldn't say a lot of people, but those of you who are, I deeply appreciate it. I love the banter. I appreciate the input. And I wish you all the best in life. See you next time.